Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce our group. We are from group 2. My name is Mirza Pagarayu and my friends are Muhammad Iko Syaputra and Muhammad Hafid Riyandi. We will discuss about locating and reviewing the literature, and then the first material will be presented by me. The first is the definition and value of a literature review. A literature review is an assessment of a body or bodies of literature that pertains to a specific question. A literature review is helpful in several ways. It not only helps researchers claim the ideas of others interested in a particular research question or through important research findings and theories, but it also lets them read about the result of similar or related studies. Literature reviews also give researchers ideas about areas where more research needs to be done. Next is types of sources. Researchers need to be familiar with three basic types of sources as he or she begins to search for information related to the research question. The first is general reference tools. It's the sources research often revert to first. In EVAC, they tell where to look to locate other sources such as article, books, reports, and other documents that deal directly with the research question. And then the second is primary sources. It's publication in which research report the result of their study directly to the reader. Most primary sources in education are journals such as the Journal of Educational Research or the Journal of Research in Science Teaching, and then these journals are usually published monthly or quarterly, and then the article, and then the last is secondary sources refers to publication in which others describe the work of others. The most common secondary sources in education are textbooks. Textbooks in educational psychology, for example, may describe several studies as a way to illustrate various ideas and concepts in psychology. Next is steps involved in a literature search. The following steps are involved in a literature search. The first is define the research problem as precisely as possible. The second is look at relevant secondary sources, or this can include research review. The third is select and browse one or two appropriate general reference works. The fourth is formulate search terms or keyword of process. The fifth is search for relevant primary sources using appropriate general reference tools. And then the sixth is obtain and read relevant primary sources and note and summarize key points in the sources. Next is define the problem as precisely as possible. The first thing researchers need to do is to state the research question as specifically as possible. General questions such as what sorts of teaching method work well in urban classrooms, or how can a principal be a more effective leader, are too easy to be of much help when looking through a general.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am the second presenter and my name is Tiko. So let's continue our presentation. Next, look through one or two secondary sources. One, the research question has been stated in specific term. It is a good idea to look through one or two secondary sources that get an overview of previous work that has been done on the problem. So here are some of the most commonly used secondary sources in educational research. The first is Encyclopedia of Educational Research. It is contain brief summaries of over 300 topics in education, an excellent source for getting a brief overview of the problem. And the second is Handbook of Research on Teaching. Most are written by educational researchers who specialize in the topic on which they are writing. And next, National Society for the Study of Education. It is published every year, and this book deals with the recent research on various topics. Each book usually contains from 10 to 12 chapters dealing with various aspects of the topic. And after that, review of educational research. Review of educational research. It is published 4 times a year by American Educational Research Association, or IRA. And this journal contains reviews of research and extensive bibliographic of various topics in education. And next, review of research in education. This contains survey and synthesis of research on important topics written by leading educational researchers. And last, subject guide to book in print. And this current edition, there are many topics, however, that have not been treated in recent review. Okay, next, select the appropriate general references tools. After that, we should have a clearer idea of exactly what to investigate. So at this point, it is a good idea to look again at the research question to see if it needs to be rewritten in any way to make it more focused. Once satisfied, researcher can select 1 or 2 general references to help identify a particular journal or other primary sources related to the question. Of many general reference tools a researcher can consult, here is a list of the ones most commonly used. The first, Education Index. So this electronic index includes 3 separate databases. The first is Education Index Retrospective, which cover period 1929 until 1982. And next, Education Index, which contains search from 1983 to the present. And the last, Education Full Text, which has abstracts and full text article dating back to 1983. And after that, for the second, Educational Resource Information Center, or ERIC, is an online database of education, research and information sponsored by the U.S. Department of Education and the Institute of Education Sciences. And then today, ERIC provides citation and direct access to more than 1.3 billion bibliographic sources, including citation to articles from more than 750 journals. ERIC provides users with abstract and exact citation information about the source. And after that, PsycInfo. Yes, PsycInfo. The electronic version of the now case psychological abstract is a database containing summaries and citation of literature in the field of psychology dating back to the 18th. And PsycInfo contains abstract and bibliographic data of journal articles, book chapters, book technical reports, and dissertation in social and behavioral sciences. And next, Exceptional Child Education Resource, or ESER. Okay. Exceptional Child Education Resources is a bibliographic database produced by the Council for Exceptional Children. And then ESER provides information about exceptional children from more than 200 journals. Using a format similar to ERIC, it provides author, subject, and title index. Next, Social Science Citation Index, or SSCI. It is another type of citation and indexing service. SSCI offers to forward search, a unique feature that can be helpful to researchers. When a researcher has found an article that contains information of interest, they can locate the author name in the SSCI to find out the names of other authors who have cited this name in the same article and journal in which their article appeared. And the last, ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis. This ProQuest maintains a digital library that has more than 1 billion titles, including abstract and full-text files in doctoral, dissertation, and master thesis submitted by more than 1,000 graduate schools and universities in North America, Europe, and Asia. Next, there is formulate research terms. Once a general reference work has been selected, researchers need to formulate some search terms, words or phrases they can use in locate primary sources. Search terms are the most important words in the problem statement. So in the most database, the assigned vocabulary words are referred to as subject terms or subject headings. And in ERIC, these terms are referred to special T as descriptors. Learning with subject terms, subject heading or descriptors are used in specific system can help related article on particular subject or topic. And last, there is search using general reference tools. Although there is no magic formula to follow, many researchers education turn into library research and other information research available online. And an online search of the literature can be performed in database available through the website of almost all university libraries and most public libraries. And many state departments of education also provide access to online education database, as do some county office of education and some large school system. The database most commonly used in educational research is ERIC, which can be searched electronically back to 1966. Okay, let's go to the next presenter, and thank you.
Okay, now I will explain about doing a computer search. To illustrate the steps involved in online searching, we will next describe an actual search conducted using the ERIC database. The first one is define the problem as precisely as possible. The research problem should be stated as specifically as possible so that relevant descriptors can be identified. A broad statement of a problem such as how effective are questioning techniques is much too general. It is liable to produce an extremely large number of references, many of which probably will be irrelevant to the researcher's question of interest. The next one is decide on the extent of the research. The researchers must now decide how many references to obtain. For a review for a journal article, the researchers might decide to review only 20 to 25 fairly recent references. Next is decide on the database. As we mentioned earlier, many databases are available, but the one most commonly used is ERIC. Subject terms or headings may not be applicable to different databases, although many do overlap. Next is select search word and discover description. Researchers often begin a search in ERIC using keywords they use to describe their topic. Next one is conduct the search. After determining which descriptors to use, the next step is to enter them into the database and let it do its work. Next one is documenting citation information. Once a researcher has located references, he or she needs to document the information found and prepare it for later use. If any articles are found that deal with some aspect of the researcher's topic, the author, title, page, publication date, and publication source should be recorded. Next is searching ERIC. Researchers today find it easier and quicker to search references tools, as well as most other references online. In addition to compiling abstract and citations, many articles are now instantly available for downloading as portable document format or PDF files. The last one is searching SciInfo. Searching through Five-Info is similar to searching through Eric. As in Eric, keywords or subject terms and descriptors can be used singularly or in various combinations to locate references. All articles of interest can then be located in identified journals. Now we will talk about obtain primary sources. After searching the general references, researchers will have a list of bibliographic citations. The next step is to locate each of the sources lists, then read and take notes on those relevant to the research problem. There are two major types of primary sources to be familiar with in this regard. There are journals and reports. Professional journals. Many journals in education publish reports of research. Some publish articles on a wide range of educational topics, while others limit what they print to a particular specialization, such as social studies education. Now, reports. Many important research findings are first published as reports. Almost all funded research projects produce a final report of their activities and findings when research is completed. In addition, each year many reports on research activities are published by the United States government, by State Department of Education, by private organizations and agencies, by local schools districts, and by professional associations. Next is locating primary sources. Most primary source material is located in academic journals, since that is where most of the research findings in education are published. Although more and more journals are available online through library websites, to conduct a thorough search of relevant primary sources, it may be necessary to search manually for sources only available in print or paper format. The next one is using secondary sources to locate primary sources. Although the principal goal of a literature review is to assess original reports of empirical research that have been published mainly in academic journals, secondary sources can be useful. Locating published review articles, either literature review or meta-analysis, which we describe in the next section, can give students a sense of the depth and breadth of the literature related to a topic. Researchers often discuss the findings of their empirical studies in terms of the theoretical literature. Understanding the major theories and theories, particularly landmark theories, that have contributed to the literature on a topic is paramount of preparing a comprehensive review. Now we will talk about meta-analysis. In academic journals, the literature review accompanying research reports are usually recalled to be brief. Unfortunately, this loss prevents much in the way of critical analysis of individual studies. Furthermore, traditional literature review basically depend on the judgment of the reviewer and hence are prone to subjectivity. The last one is evaluating primary sources. When all the desired journal article and document are gathered together, the review can begin. It is a good idea to begin with the most recent articles and work backward. The reason for this is that most of the more recent articles will cite the earlier articles and thus provide a quick overview of previous work. Read the abstract or the summary first. This will tell whether the article is worth reading in its entirety. Okay, let's continue to the researching the World Wide Web. The World Wide Web, or triple W, is a part of the Internet, a vast reservoir of information on all sorts of topics in a wide variety of areas. The Internet was barely mentioned in the research literature. Today it cannot be ignored, despite the fact that ERIC and, on occasion, SciInfo remain the database of choice when it comes to research involving most educational topics. Researching the web should also be considered. Space prevents us from describing the Internet in detail, but we do wish to point out some of its important features. Using a web browser, researchers can find information on almost any topic with just a few clicks of the mouse button. Now we will talking about indexes. Indexes group websites together under similar categories, such as Australian University, London Art Galleries, and Science Laboratories. This is similar to what libraries do when they group similar kind of information resources together. The result of an index search will be a list of websites related to the topic being searched. Now we're talking about search engines. If one wants more specific information, such as biographical information about George Orwell, however, one should use a search engine because it will search all of the contents of a website. Search engines such as Google or the librarian's index to the Internet use software programs to search the entire Internet, looking at millions of web pages and index all of the word on them. So, what is the advantage of searching the World Wide Web? The first one is currency. Many resources on the Internet are updated very rapidly. Second one is access to a wide variety of materials. Many resources, including works of art, manuscripts, even entire library collection, can be reviewed at leisure using a personal computer. The third one is varied format. Material can be sent over the Internet in different formats, including text, video, sound, and animation. The last one is immediacy. The Internet is open 24 hours a day. Information can be viewed on one's own computer and can be examined as desired or saved to a hard drive or disk for later examination and study. So what is the advantage of the World Wide Web? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 disadvantages of the World Wide Web. The first one is disorganization. Unfortunately, much of the information on the web is not well organized. Time commitment. There is always a need to search continually for new or more complete information. Next one is lack of credibility. Anyone can publish something on the Internet. As a result, much of the material one finds there may have little, if any, credibility. Uncertain reliability. It is so easy to publish information on the Internet that it often is difficult to judge its worth. Next is ethical violations. Because material on the Internet is so easy to obtain, there is a greater temptation for researchers to use the material without citation or permission. So the last one is undue reliance. The amount of information available on the internet has grown so rapidly in the last few years that some researchers may be missed to think they can find everything they need on internet, thereby causing them to ignore other, more traditional sources of information. That's all from me. Thank you very much.